Yeah, this is Trevor. I got you loud and clear, Oklahoma. How about me?
You sound great. I'm Zach with the Oklahoma State ToNGS.
Hey, Zach. Just confirming that this is your tool and showing the banner here.
Yep, that is correct.
Awesome. Let's get to work.
Awesome. We're going to quickly go over just some terminology and familiarize yourself with the tool. If you pick up the tool at your feet.
Got it.
There are two handles at the top. And if you grab both handles and squeeze, you activate the jaws and open it. Awesome. We'll have you do that a couple of times just to get used to it. How does that feel?
Yeah, the handle's almost appropriate, perfectly for the gloved hand. You can see not much gapping on either side, and I really don't have to squeeze my hand in there, so it's almost right on the size for the glove. And the spring force is maybe a little strong, but maybe that's appropriate once we start getting into the sampling that I want it that strong. But it could get a little fatiguing based on the spring force right now.
Okay, thank you. Look into that. Okay, so for this first test, we're gonna pick up a range of samples. We want to first find a sample about the size of a nickel.
Copy. Looking for something the size of a nickel. I've got some vesicular basalt here in the sand. Awesome. Kind of a nice open patch of sand.
Yeah.
Hopefully you see that on the video.
Yep, those look good. So why don't you open up the tool and see how easy it is to pick up a sample. And then the sand to take out. Yep.
Yeah, I got the guy that I was after.
Okay.
The sand did go through the open teeth. I guess I'll call them teeth for now, unless you can correct me. And I was able to select that.
Awesome. How easy would you say it would be to drop that into maybe a box or a bag to store the sample?
Let's give it a quick try. I think it'd be pretty easy. I don't see the box down here, but I'll just drop it back on the sand and replicate it going back into like a sample box or a rock box. I have pretty good control of that, especially because it dropped down into like the bottom corner. So I could see the sample, and I could see exactly where it was going to drop when I opened. So I like that aspect that I could actually see it, and awesome. It wasn't completely encapsulated.
Awesome. We'd like to repeat that test with sample size, like a ping pong ball shaped size.
Copy. Going after one that's maybe a little bit bigger than a ping pong ball. Hopefully you see that.
Yep. That looks good.
No issues there. And if you notice, just a few words on that, I'm using the bottom corner of the tool. Helps me actually as a better aim point and pick point. Okay. I'm also in the kneeling configuration rather than standing doing that. So I might like going straight on if I'm standing, but when I'm kneeling, I kind of use the 45-degree angle of that.
Yeah. Do you have a preference to standing or kneeling?
I kind of like taking one knee. As a scientist, again, I like trying to get closer to the samples I'm picking up so I can observe what I'm looking at and make sure that I'm going after what I want to and what the science team wants to select. So I kind of like one knee, but this tool works great in both configurations.
Okay, and then we'll go with something larger, like a baseball-sized rock sample.
All right, hopping over here.
That jaw.
Again, this one, I'm going about 45 degree. This is something between a baseball and a softball size.
Yep. That was good.
On a knee, that worked pretty well. I'm going to drop it and collect it again, standing up. Again, works really well. And just some words on that spring force. I kind of like the spring force now that I'm picking up samples because it ensures that the the jaws close nice and tight, and I don't have to worry about the sample falling out.
Yeah, that's something we were worried about too. Thank you. How easy do you think it would have been for that sample to fall out the top of the device, because we don't have it enclosed on top?
I think I'd have to intentionally try to do it. So again, I picked up that softball, baseball size one, and only if I get it in the right orientation.
Okay.
But I really had to try to do that.
Okay, thank you. So the next thing we're going to want to test is dust tolerance of the tool. So find an open area and lay the tool in the sand.
Okay, I think I'm going to go back to the big bin over here. All right, I'm going to lay it down on top of the sand and await your words.
Okay, and then could you please cover it with sand as best you can?
Copy, in work. It's a big tool, so it'll take a lot of sand. Might get a few rocks.
That's okay.
So I got the end effector side. I'll put some sand on the middle and some sand up where the hand goes.
Awesome. And then once you've covered it, could you please remove the tool and actuate it?
All right, so just picking it up with some sand still left on it. Actuates pretty easily. I feel some grit, some sand particles, but it works right through them.
1 to 5, 1 being easy as when you first picked up the tool, and 5 being can't move at all. How would you rate that?
It was probably a 2, but now it's back to a 1, if that makes sense. It kind of worked itself out, and it's back to the normal config.
Okay. That's good. Could you find a sample that would be probably a little bit bigger than the last sample we got? I want to see if we can max out that jaw.
Roger that. Going after a bigger guy. So this one's definitely the size of a softball. It just barely, the scoop just barely fits over top of that. It did close, so I have the teeth on teeth. This one I don't think I could get to fall out.
Okay.
But it definitely is pushing the bigger side.
Would you prefer on future iterations for us to put some form of a mesh over that backside to keep any samples from falling loose?
Yeah, just maybe you have some clear acrylic or something something like that. 1 or 2 strips would definitely allow me to make sure that I don't drop smaller samples out of there. Okay. But there's certainly a breaking point where you would lose that visibility that I like. So I like being able to have some visibility. So I wouldn't put too fine a mesh.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
So the sample that I went to go pick up is probably at the maximum size for it.
You can probably try taking
Say again, your last?
You might just try to just grab it, take a bite out of it and see.
So there you can see it's all the way up against the rotation rod that runs along the back. It definitely closed on the sample. It allows me to take a closer look at it. And probably can release it. Yeah, so no issues coming out. That's a pretty big rock.
Are you experiencing any fatigue with that spring force?
Negative. No, it's not too bad. Yeah, I probably could do a full EVA 6 or so hours with that and only feel minor fatigue.
Okay. And how easy do you think it would be to get your finger stuck in that handle as a pinch point?
You mean between these two
Yeah.
horizontal bars? I suppose you could stick a finger in there, but then you don't want to squeeze, because you're just squeezing against. So I wouldn't think it's that big of an issue.
Okay.
Especially because the handle is constructed the way it is. It just naturally, your hand wants to fit in there. The only preference I might have is maybe making this handle that's the lower one in the video right now, making that a little bit bigger. But,
a little bit wider?
Yeah, but that might not be appropriate for every hand size of all the different types of subjects. So something to think about and maybe do a few trade studies on.
Will do. I mean, you've met all of our test objectives. Is there any comments you have on our tool?
No, I really like it. Another thing to maybe take a look at is maybe making, mass is always an issue for taking things in space. It is a pretty light tool, but for 16G, maybe making the grabber head a little smaller. But, that all depends on what the science objectives are. Because if I wanted a lunar rock this size, it obviously gets a rock that size. So, and that's not unreasonable for the types of rocks that we want to bring back from the moon.
Yeah,
we're at 3 minutes.
Okay, we had planned to cut out some holes in the grabber to make it a bit lighter, but due to time constraints and COVID, we did not get around to doing that.
Copy that. Yeah, no problem. I don't think it made that much a difference, but it might just, for the mass ultimately. Okay. I really like the tool overall. Worked well. Didn't bind up with the sand, and I really appreciate your guys' time and effort, and talk to you about it a bit more in the debrief.
Okay, thank you.
Great job.